financial services too. So next up, we have my very, very, very good friend and co-host and business coach, Luke Biddle. He's managed to transform my life. I used to be a really, really nervous presenter, and I didn't communicate very well, and I'd be very stuttery and jittery at the front of the room. But thanks to Luke, I've overcome those fears and those nerves, and now I can put together a vaguely comprehensive presentation at the front of the room. So I'd like to welcome up to the front of the stage, Luke Biddle.
Thank you, mate. We'll do the handshake handover.
Of course,
nice. Thank you, mate. Let's hear it from Mr. James Rogers, founder of Property Poppadoms. Let's give him another round of applause. Man most likely to string two sentences together these days. But he's come a long way. And when James and I first started working together, I remember we met on Mastermind in 2000, was it 17 or 19? There you go. I mean, like, you know, it's there or thereabouts. And James would literally sweat when he was walking up to the front of the room. And look at him now. I think he's doing a fascinating job. And what he's built here, there are a lot of property networks, but I think there's only one social property network, because the heart of all property in Poppadoms is the social aspect. Who's here for the first time tonight? Fantastic. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for putting your trust in us on a Wednesday night and giving us your time. I hope you're going to have an amazing time. Please do share it on your socials, because as James said, that's what helps this to grow. So I'm going to be talking to you tonight about speaking with impact to increase your income. Who loves public speaking? A few people. Okay, that's good. It took a little minute there, but that's good. Who would like to be better at public speaking? Right, you're all in the wrong room, honestly, because that's what this is all about, really. So start off with, if you want to achieve anything in life, whether it's public speaking, whether it's property portfolio, whether it's doing something out of your comfort zone, how much of it do you think is mindset versus skill set? Who thinks it's 50-50? No? Who thinks it's mindset 20, 80 skill set? Nope. And who thinks it's 80 mindset and 20 skill set? And who's not in the room? Who's just like zoned out and you just listen to what's going on inside your head? Yeah, so according to Tony Robbins, who's a mentor of mine, success is achieved through a plan that is 80% psychological, easy for me to say, and 20% strategic. So first and foremost, your mind has to be set. So what does that really mean? What it means is that everybody in this room is going to be successful in their own right. I can tell you that every single person in this room can teach me about something. You are all the best at something, and you are all the best at transforming someone else's life. Now, it might feel like when we compare ourselves to other people that everyone else is better than us, but I guarantee you every single person in this room has one skill that no one else in the room has. So just remember that. But to get even more success, you're going to need three things to line up. So the first is going to be your mindset. That 80% of your psychology is going to be really, really important, because if you want to communicate effectively, the first person you've got to communicate with is absolutely 100%. The second thing you need is your message. And you need a good message because you need clarity in what it is that you do, why you do it, and who you do it for. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of a clear message. And then finally, we're going to talk about marketing. Who loves doing marketing? Okay, same hands again. It's no one's favorite job, but when you run a business, it's an important part of growing your business and getting it out there. Most people in a small business or in a property business are using social media, which means they are the brand. So it's your personal brand that is driving a lot of your activity and your marketing. So does it make sense that if we can communicate with ourselves better, we can make a clear message that our marketing is going to become a little bit easier? Who's with me? Perfect. So if these three don't match up, either you take ineffective action. Who in the room has ever taken some ineffective action? You took all the action, but you didn't get the results. Or what we like to call learning or failing. And by the way, if you don't like to fail, it's okay. First attempt is learning. That's what failing is, so it's okay to fail. I often say to my son, what have you failed at today? You know, because we want to be grooving in the fact that if we're not failing at things, we're not making enough mistakes, we're not pushing ourselves hard enough. So if you want a better result, You need to be willing to fail more. Or you take no action at all. Who's ever had a goal or a dream and they took no action at all on it and it didn't happen? No surprises there. It's psychological maths, isn't it? So nothing changes unless we change the things that we do. So this is a little bit about me. I'm a business coach and I'm a speaker. I love speaking. I joined Toastmasters last year and I've had a raft of successes. And I'm actually competing next month in the National Humorous Speech Contest. Might not be obvious that I'm funny, but I am. That's a different speech, though. I won't share that one with you tonight. And I'm also a senior leader with a guy called Tony Robbins. Anybody heard of Tony Robbins? Okay, so I work on all of Tony's events, on virtually and in person, and I help him to train his leaders within the business and all of the people who attend all of his seminars. So I know a little bit about psychology and a little bit about presenting. In our business, we do business coaching. Now, just to show you, this is the system that we use. For most of you, this won't be applicable because you might have smaller businesses that might be under $1 million in revenue. So this is really for larger businesses who want to scale up their business. Essentially, we help business owners move from overwhelm on the bottom left into overworked. So the difference between overwhelm and overworked is that you don't know what you're doing, you're panicking, and you can't solve all the problems, you're doing it all yourself. That's overwhelm. Overworked is you know what you need to do, you don't have the resources or the structure to get it done, so you're doing everything. At the organized level, you have systems that are running the business and people to run the systems. And then at the overseer level, you are looking after the business and directing your entire team to do the business that you want. And then finally, at the top level, the owner level, you are actually just you've got somebody to run the business on your behalf. Anybody who's just an investor, you purely just invest, you don't do any property yourself, you just invest. So if you were an investor, that would be at the owner level. You are using your money to create a further income. And that's really where we want businesses to get to. So if that's of interest to you, I'm happy to have a conversation, but I'm just framing it up. This is what we normally do, and this is where this talk comes from, because when we get all that information, we put it into this boss dashboard, business owner success system. So we find out where the gaps are in your business and we fix them in a consistent way so that you get to that owner level over time. But most people that we talk to don't need that level of support. So instead what we did was we pulled out some of the marketing elements of revenue and marketing, which you need to build a business. And we made a smaller course, which I'm just going to share a little bit about with you tonight. So this is about message mastery, mindset mastery, and marketing mastery. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, so the first thing, your mindset. So this is about getting out of your own way. What you say to yourself about taking big action. Who's ever decided they were going to take big action and that little voice in your head said, no, you're not? And what shows up there? Well, a lot of clutter. Whose brain sometimes feels a little bit like this? Yeah, we've got a million things going on there, and the thing that we want to focus on is very difficult because that little voice is telling us why we can't do things, all about our limiting beliefs, and all of the distractions that will destroy your actions. So here's what happens. This is a very sophisticated picture of your brain, and what's going on is you have a great intention to achieve something. But unfortunately, your brain is like a filtering system. It's filtering billions of pieces of information every minute, and that includes chatter, clutter, limiting beliefs, baggage, experiences and emotions, and all of that is contaminating your idea of focus about what you want to achieve. So what comes out is inaction. Who's ever experienced this, within their head? It goes through the filter of your brain and it comes out as inaction. So, yeah, buts and what ifs. If you're regularly using the words yeah, but and what ifs in your language, you are holding yourselves back from the success that you want. So if on a daily basis you're saying, yeah, but what if I don't get the price that I want? Maybe I need to lower a bit. Yeah, what if I spend money on marketing and it doesn't work? What if I do a social media reel and I mess up the words, or people laugh at me? Like, what if, these are the words that hold you back. So you need to clear out this kind of intellectual clutter in order to cut through to the success that you want. And what we need to do that is certainty. We need to get ourselves in a state of absolute certainty about the actions that we want to take. So why is certainty important? Well, again, Mr. Tony Robbins, the person with the most certainty in any given situation will influence the other. Who's ever been in a negotiation situation? Yeah? If the other person had more certainty than you, did you tend to just agree with them and kind of lose the negotiation that you wanted, the result that you wanted? And we all need certainty. Now, knowing this, this is one of what we call 6 human needs. All of us need all 6 of these. However, we all have a slightly different priority to the ones that we need. Broadly speaking, though, the top 2 for most people are going to be certainty and significance. Certainty is, I need to know I've got a roof over my head, I've got food, I've got shelter, and I know what's going on. Now, some people prefer uncertainty, those lunatics that go snowboarding and skydiving and all of that kind of stuff. They love uncertainty. But we all need a degree of certainty. Most people need certainty. It's the first thing that they choose. The second thing, significance, means that we want to be seen and recognized for our unique contribution. Think about this. Whenever you see a picture, what do you look for first? Yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Picture on Facebook. Oh, am I in it? Oh, boring. Not going to even like it. Because we are the most important thing to ourselves. And our name is the most important thing. Because we crave significance. So if we need certainty and significance, in knowing that, in any situation where we want to influence or persuade somebody, if we have the most certainty and we can give significance to the other person, are we going to be able to influence them? Yes or yes? So, what gets in the way of us feeling certain? Feelings of fear. Anybody brave enough to admit that they sometimes experience feelings of fear? If your hand isn't up, you lie about other things as well. Because we all experience fear at certain times. Might be fear of failure, might be fear of success, might be fear of looking stupid, might be fear of losing love, might be fear of not being enough. We all have these fears that show up because of the limiting beliefs that are underneath them. So if we want to get over that, the way to do it is to cultivate a state of certainty. And there are certain ways that we can develop that so that we are always in a state of certainty. You'd love to be able to cultivate a state of certainty on demand? Yeah, it's really helpful. It's what I do every time before I'm going to speak or do anything that is what might be an intense situation. The other thing that stops us in addition to fear is perfection paralysis. Is there any perfectionists in the room? Put your hand up loud and proud if you're a perfectionist. James, what's the number one phrase that we use when we're a perfectionist? 7 out of 10 is the new perfect. If you're a perfectionist, do you have high standards? Yes. Do we have ridiculous standards? Because perfection can't be reached. So it's kind of an unrealistic standard. So you might as well have no standards. However, if you are a perfectionist, is it likely that your 10 out of 10 is another person's 13 out of 10? Yeah. So your 7 out of 10 is going to be perfectly adequate. And here's the thing. If you're always striving for 10 out of 10, you're going to spend an awful lot of time on every task, procrastinating, not pulling the trigger, and waiting for more information or it to be better. And that is stopping you doing 10 times more things that is going to accelerate your business at a 10x rate. Because I'd rather do 10 lousy things that at least move me forward, that I learn something from and give me momentum, than I would one perfect thing that actually gets no more likes, no more comments, and no more income. Does this make sense, guys? Okay. Here's the thing about your brain, okay? Your brain is not there to make you successful, rich, or happy. Your brain is there to keep you safe. Your brain is there to keep you what? Let's try again. Your brain is there to keep you... You guys are really coming on. We're going to be really loud by the end of this. So we've got to take control of that because our brain isn't there to make us happy, successful, or wealthy. Our brain is there to keep us. So should we listen to it? Who's in control, you or your brain? It's a bit of a trick question, isn't it? I don't know. I want to say me, but it's probably my brain, and that's true. Our brain is there to keep us safe. So we've got to act in spite of ourselves, with certainty, if we want to move ourselves forward and achieve the results that we want in life. When it feels scary to jump, that is exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you end up staying in the same place your whole life. Do kids do this? Yeah. Fleur, Fern, do you do this? Do you just take risks? Do you just do stupid I can't say that word. Daddy does that. They're the voice of reason. But, we learn fear. When we're younger, we just take chances and we're just playful. And we just experiment with things. We're not afraid to fail. We're not afraid to do anything. we learn fear, usually from adults. Who says to their kids, don't do that, be careful? So we're imprinting on them our fears. And we've got to be a little bit careful about that. Haven't you, James? And there are no limits to success other than the limits you place on yourself. And these limits are limiting beliefs. And I guarantee you, every single person in this room, you all share something in common. There are limiting beliefs in every one of you. In a longer talk, I do a great exercise to help you to highlight those, and you can take away the 3. We don't have time to do that this evening, but it's very powerful. And on the 2-day course that I'll tell you about if you're interested, we do a lot of exercises around breaking limiting beliefs and creating a state of certainty. But your limits are in your mind, whatever they are. 80% psychological, 20% skills. Yes, it's possible that there are skills that you need to develop. That's part of learning and growing and investing as a property investor. But the majority are going to be your own thoughts and your own limiting beliefs. So number 2, your message. So this is what you say to people about what you do. Now, if I said to you, as a full room of successful, intelligent property investors, what do you do? Who could stand up and tell me what they do? Go on then. Stand up. What's your name? Where do you come from?
Aidan from Stockport.
And what do you do, Aidan?
So we work with high-net individuals to create wealth through property investment where they can leverage our time and knowledge in the market and get hands-off returns on their investment.
Very good. Let's give them a round of applause. Well done, Aidan. Now, what most people say is, well, it's complicated. You see, we do investments, but we've also got, and you know, I'll tell you about that. And it's this complicated, I don't quite know, and my granddad left me a bit of money, and I did. Like, we need to simplify how we say what we do. And it sounds easy, but just try this yourself. Next time you meet people, say, what do you do? And listen to where people hesitate and they're not quite sure. And the worst place is at this kind of event where the microphone passes around. We don't do it here, thankfully. You know, what do you, I'm Luke, and yeah, I've been in property for, 22 months, and it's complicated. We need to simplify it. So what do you say? So just think about it for yourself. What do you say? And how could you simplify that message? Because when I did this talk at another Property Poppadoms event, somebody stood up and said, I'm a property investor. I said, well, that is simple and clear, but it doesn't tell me why you're the best. Now, what was great about yours, Aidan, is you explained what you do and a little bit about why you're really good at it. So that was a really great attempt, so well done. But again, what happens is we have the intention, I'm going to tell people what I do. I'm going to stand up at that property meeting and I'm really going to make a difference and people are going to know my name. Who's ever gone into a property meeting thinking like that and come out saying, well, I messed that up. So the interferences come in, limiting beliefs that I talked about, feelings, uncertainty, noise, chatter. People are going to judge me. What about if they're more experienced than me? What about if I'm not good enough? What about if somebody sees me and they know that like I missed on a house in an auction once and I'm really embarrassed about it? So then we get a misinterpretation. We don't get our message across clearly. So we need clarity in our message. Would it be helpful to share a framework to give us clarity in our message? Would it be useful if I... Yes. Oh, we're getting there, aren't we? A little bit more volume. I love it. Okay. Just before I go into that, has anybody heard of this before? The 7-8-35 rule about communication. Okay. 7% of what we say and what we communicate is words. 38% is how you say it. 55% is how you communicate with your body.
Why is it called 7-8-35?
7%? Oh, because it's for people like you that just spot spelling mistakes. That's what it's for, Dean. Thanks for giving me the benefit of the doubt. So it's the 7-8-55 rule for all the high C analytical people in the room. But I'll give you an example. Huh? Well, I'm glad that you're paying attention, Dean. 5 bonus points. There you go. So if I was to say to James, oh, James, I'm going to kill you, versus, I'm going to kill you! Are they different? Same words, but the impact is very, very different. So when we learn how to use our words and our tonality and our body language, we can communicate on many, many dimensions, and we can emotionally impact the people that we're talking to in a completely different way. So back to your business one-liner. This is the structure and framework where you can easily and intelligently communicate your message. So here it is. The one-liner is in 3 parts. How many parts are in the one-liner? We've dropped off again. How many parts are in the one-liner? 3. It's like being back at school, isn't it? So we've got the problem, we've got the solution, and we've got the result. So Aidan, just tell me yours again and just frame it in terms of a problem, a solution, and a result, if you wouldn't mind, on the fly. It's failing and learning, Aidan. It's always good for your growth, mate. So what you said before, what you do, but couch it in terms of the problem, the solution, and the result.
So we work with high net worths who have money sat in the banks. That's a little bit of a problem for them because inflation might be eroding their hard-earned cash away. So we offer them a solution by investing in property with our knowledge and our time and expertise, which therefore gives them a great result, a passive income on money that they usually not sat in the bank.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's give them a round of applause. So something like most high net worth individuals spend sleepless nights worrying about their money losing value every night as inflation ticks on. We find smart investment properties that can give them a great return with a safe investment so that they don't need to spend any more nights sleeping. Instead, they can take holidays with all the money we're earning them. Something like that. So do we see how the framework works? So here's an example. Probably won't be as good as Aidan's, but there's a couple more there, but I'll just focus on the top one. Managing your properties shouldn't be a headache. We handle everything from tenant relations to maintenance, so you can enjoy steady income and peace of mind. Who feels like they could structure this for their business and be able to stand up and say it more confidently in the future? Yeah? Makes sense? A lot of blank faces. Everyone still thinks, no, I still don't want to stand up. Anybody want to think about their business and try it out now in front of this live studio audience? Okay, come on then, Joel. Let's hear it for Joel. Okay, Joel.
Same as before, the problem.
Yep, problem, solution, result.
So the biggest problem with my clients that they find is they find it super difficult to drop stubborn body fat. They're super busy, they're business owners, and they've got 101 things on their task list, and one of them isn't training and eating well and looking after their bodies. The solution is I simplify it, I make it as easy as possible, and we start with the lowest hanging fruits. And the results, they then realise how easy it can be without having to do all the legwork themselves in terms of the research, finding the right training programs, finding the right foods, and where to get them from and how to cook it and how to do it.
Fantastic. Let's give him a round of applause. Thanks, Joel. So what I heard was most successful business owners don't know how to lose weight, and it makes them even more stressed and puts them at risk of maybe having a heart attack. We give them a diet plan specifically and nutritionally balanced for them so that they lose weight and feel fitter in days, not weeks or months or years. Something like that. Okay, cool. Is that useful, guys? Fantastic. Okay, so all the world's a stage. Is this true? Shakespeare said it. Everywhere you go is an opportunity to sell yourself and your business. Now, you might not want to stand up in front of a property network event like this, but when you speak to one person, that is your platform and your stage. And if it's a group of people like you're going to speak to tonight, and I would encourage all of you tonight to go and speak to somebody you haven't spoken to yet and use the framework of this is what I do with your one-liner and meet people. Because when we start to communicate in that way, lots of opportunities open up to us. Social media is probably the biggest one. So we need to prepare ourselves for the stage. How are we doing for time? Dean hasn't given me my 5 minutes. Oh, now I've got my 5 minutes.
I was wondering when you popped it on. I kept looking at me. I was like,
I was looking through you, Dean, not to you. So I'll move on very quick. So there's a lot of things that we could do to improve our speaking, but the top 5 tips, number 1 is storytelling, because people remember it in 7 parts of the brain rather than 1, which is where information gets stored. Emotional connection to your subject matter. Connect with your audience emotionally. They'll remember what you do and why you do it, because people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. Who's felt something already from tonight, from the things that I've shared? Yeah, and those are the things that you'll remember because you've experienced an emotion rather than just information. Vocal variety, you'll notice that I'll use my voice high, low, soft, loud, and lots of different things to engage an audience. And these are all things that can be learned. This is the 20% of the skill set that we also need in addition to the mindset. You've got to vary your energy so that you've got the energy of the audience, and you've got to practice. Very quickly in the marketing. So marketing is a big myth. Like, there's lots of fancy schmancy words around marketing, but it comes down to some pretty simple basics. What happens with marketing is you have a great intention, but when we try to communicate what we do in our business, the last time we said clarity, right? We get confusion in marketing, because what you want to communicate with your target audience is everything I know, everything I do, my language, features of my service, information overload. Who's ever thought, right, I'm going to do an advert, and you try to put everything that you know about your business in your words, put it on the page. These are all the great things. You figure out what it is that reflects for you, okay? So we can tend to overwhelm our customers if we haven't got a succinct way of defining what people need. But more importantly, people buy things to either get away from something that they don't like or go towards something that they do like. Anybody heard this before? It's the pain-pleasure principle. This is why most news and media outlets sell us on what's wrong, because our brain is there to keep us safe. So if we say, sunny skies, everybody's happy, no one cares. It's not a threat to my life, so I don't care. Trump puts in tariffs. Holy shit, I need to know that. How is that going to affect me? And this is the way the brain works. So when we want to promote to people, we want to say to them, this is the pain that you're in, here's how I can solve it for you. The second thing is people buy things for emotional reasons, and they justify with logical reasons. Whenever you try to convince somebody with logic that they should use you or your project or your product, then you're appealing to the wrong side of them. They will justify with logic, but they will need to make the reason emotional first. Stephen Covey wrote a great book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said, if you want to be understood, seek first to understand. You've got to know the conversation that's going on in your customer's head. Because by doing that, you can market in their language, not yours. So you've got to meet them where they are at and speak their language, which essentially, people buy solutions to problems, not products and solutions. Here's an example. Anybody had a leak in their bathroom in your own house? Not in one of your properties, but your own house. Somebody comes along to fix it. What do you want from them? What are you buying from them? A solution. Yeah, fix the leak. Imagine if the plumber turned up, he said, just come out here for a minute. Come out here, James. Now, look in the van here. I've got push fit, I've got brass, I've got copper, I've got torque wrenches, I've got all this. These are all the things I'm going to use for you. Do you care? No. And sometimes that's what we do with our products and our services. We give them a big list of what's in the van, but they don't care because what they're buying is a fixed tap. Does this make sense, guys? So we need to calibrate our offer to our audience. So imagine your next meeting, investor pitch, or social video that you're doing, and you had absolute certainty that you were going to do it and the result that you were going to get. That you had absolute clarity in the message that you wanted to share with that audience. And you had calibrated what you said to your exact audience, so only the people that were interested in working you were the ones who were going to click through and cost you money if you're investing into paid ads. How would that feel? Would that feel good? Not sure. Yes, thank you. We're coming to the end, guys. We're going to eat soon, I promise. So these are the 3 things that we cover in our Income to Impact Blueprint. Is it okay if I share that with you? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so part 1 is mindset. This is the self-creation roadmap. A state of certainty to create empowering stories. Emotion is energy in motion. How do we create boundless energy so that we can present that to our audiences? Tear down your limiting beliefs and transform them into power. And the foundations, which are the habits and discipline, proven success. You know a lot about that, don't you, Joel? It's all about habits and foundations. Then we've got message mastery. Speak up with confidence in every opportunity. So how do I actually become a confident speaker? Engage audiences with an emotional connection. Energetic stage presence that can transform your prospects into your partners. DISC profiling to understand and communicate with all audiences. Very quickly on DISC, there are 4 different personality profiles. Most basic level, everybody in this room is going to be one of these 4, which means 3 in every 4 people that you communicate to are going to have a different communication style to you. That means however you communicate is blocking out 75% of your audience. So once you learn what the 4 are and what you are and how you can communicate differently, it means you can unlock a lot better communication. And then finally, marketing mastery, the story brand emotional story framework. The one-liner is just the first part of that. Effective marketing plan for ROI, so you can implement marketing with effective measurement. So you're not just saying, I'm going to do marketing, but I don't really know what it's doing. Exciting offer workshop, because it's not just about your product, it's about making it into an exciting offer that people are mad to refuse to work with you. and then KPIs to track, measure, and success. I'll finish with something that Warren Buffett said. He said, invest in yourself. The one easy way to become worth 50% more, and imagine if your value is 50% more than it already is as successful property investors, than you are now, is to hone your communication skills. If you can't communicate, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens. You can have all the brain power in the world, but you have to be able to transmit it. And the transmission is communication. And Warren Buffett, does he know a thing or two about investing? So, the usual investment with no offers of discount when we do 2-day training programs is £1,500. But what we want to give you, as you are Property and Poppadoms Illuminati, we're going to give you a special offer. So it's the 2-day Impact to Income Bootcamp, one-to-one mentoring with myself and Sarah, and this is what we do all day long with business owners, and a disc profiling analysis and training specifically geared to you, so you understand your own communication style and that of other people. Normal price, £2,500. We don't want to do that. It's $499. I don't want to sound like a sleazy salesman. That's what the offer is. It's great because I really want more people in Property and Poppadoms to be able to communicate with impact to make sure that they are getting the best deals and the best communication that they can. If that's interesting for you, then June the 7th and 8th is when we're going to be running it. It's virtual on Zoom. Take your personal brand and property business to the next level. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, there's the QR code, and I'm around all night to answer any other questions. What questions do you have? Bit louder. I'm in Solihull. Wow, that was easy. Yeah, no, most of our clients are one-to-one. So, my wife Sarah and I, we work together with business owners. Most of it is one-to-one. However, that's not accessible to everybody. So what we wanted to do is put together a product that was accessible but gave a ton of value so that people can get the basics. If you want to go beyond communication and marketing, we can look at all the other areas of the business. And you saw that in the profit system. Yes?
Do you invest in properties?
Yes, I met James on Mastermind in 2017. We don't have a huge portfolio, it's just buy to let, because when we started the journey, we wanted to get into property as property investors, just like all of you are in this room. My wife got pregnant halfway through the course, so it kind of, all on her own. My son's bald, so I wonder if James had anything to do with it. So that wasn't the thing that we really loved. So we haven't followed that in the same way. But what we love to do is we love to coach, we love to share business knowledge, and we love to inspire and work with people. That's become our passion, and that's why we do what we do. So we... Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you all enjoy your meal. And I'll hand back over to Dee.
I think she said something like, wow, that was good, but you went super quick.
Yeah, I felt like there was so much at the end of that. Can't keep up.
Did you say, are you going to share something with everyone? Is that what you just said? Am I okay to share it with you, or did you mean, am I okay to show you this slide? I've got these slides.
It's a great question. I didn't understand it, but could you clarify it?
You said during...
I can share this in the Manchester Property and Poppadoms
Yeah.
WhatsApp group. Yeah, some of these slides.
If you want to read, are you okay with that? For them to read over it again?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Thanks, Luke. You can continue talking because they've not even started bringing food out yet.
Okay, fine. So, well, we'll need some more questions because, like, I've run out of slides now. Because I took a ton out because James said, you've got 20 minutes. And I was like, okay. Normally it takes me 45 minutes, but that's okay.
Once they start bringing food out, you can...
I'll stop then.
Yeah, so we can eat. But
So do you think your coaching is targeted at increasing communication between clients and then therefore converting more sales?
So it's my honest belief that communication shows up everywhere. I mean, the biggest challenge that I think people have is public speaking. And a lot of people get very scared about it. And there's a lot that goes on in terms of limiting beliefs and mindset. If you think about being able to be a skilled communicator, if I'm having a call with you on the phone and I'm able to use a lot of vocal tonality and inflections to really change the way that we communicate, I don't have to be standing in front of a room full of people. I can negotiate on the phone in a far more effective manner. So I'll give you an example. There's 3 frames that we can use: superior, neutral, and inferior. So a lot of times people who are quite a high D profile, just to talk about the disc for a minute, will tend to be quite assertive or even aggressive in how they will speak to people. And that can be quite off-putting for 75% of people. Now, there are times when you need that. So, for example, if there was a fire that went on now and I was at the front of the room, if I said, now, it's okay, guys, there's a fire, so just pick up your belongings very carefully, and I'm going to be going this, like, that isn't how you do it. You say, guys, there's a fire, this way now, no, pick up anything. So that's what we need. So that is a dominant frame, and it's a superior posture. And what you notice with it is when you want to use a superior posture, go down at the bottom of your sentences. So I'll give you an example. I really like that T-shirt. I really like that shirt. So when you inflect down, it's a position of dominance and authority. And all you need to do is just inflect down at the end. What most people do, sorry for the stereotyping, but particularly women, will tend to be sing-songy and then go up at the end. So, do you like my shirt? What colour is this room? Everything sounds like a question. So just notice yourself when you're communicating whether or not that lack of certainty shows up as everything sounding like a question. So yeah, I'm really interested in your house. What's the best price you could do for it? Am I going to immediately go to a lower offer? No, because there's no certainty in that. What's your best price? They might be the same words, but the way that we use our voice is very, very different. Neutral posture is just the way that you speak to your friends. Yeah, what's your best price, mate? No inflection up or down. So once you start to understand how to communicate in a different way, you can use it across the board, every area of your business, not just in standing up and speaking. However, the best way to get impact is to be able to speak one-to-many. Most of us are quite comfortable speaking one-to-one, but in a one-to-many situation, you're going to have more reach and more impact, particularly if you can touch people emotionally so they remember you and they want to come and do business with you. Great question, thank you.
I don't know if anybody's ever been to a pin meeting, but you have to get up and do that little 20-second pitch. I couldn't even do that, could I?
Not then, you could now.
No, obviously, of course, no. But back then, years ago when I couldn't, I would turn into an absolute, I'd just evaporate.
He literally was covered in sweat.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know why, but, after working with you for as long as I have, it's completely different from now, completely different. And Luke is one of the reasons why this has been so successful. But, because he's given me the confidence to do it, he's taught me various different skills and practices that I use to this day. And yeah, I can't rate him highly enough.
That's very kind, James. Normally, sorry, go on.
Everyone kind of thinks I'm on their own and being embarrassed about it as well, but there's
Yeah.
surveys done where people fear public speaking more than death.
More than death, absolutely. It's the number one fear, the number one biggest fear of everybody.
He's still on the podcast now. Absolutely.
Oh, on podcast.
Yeah, I've got to get over the film still, but that's, it's about practice and getting yourself out there. But it's only, pretty recently, the past 18 months to 2 years, where I've felt more confident at the front of the room, whereas before, and that is lots of work with you.
So, who would go into a piano shop, having never played the piano, and sit down and go, oh, why can't I play the piano? But that's what we think about public speaking. We go, well, why am I no good at it? I'm just not one of those people that's good at it. It is a skill that we need to learn, and we can all be good at it. Like anything else, if you want to get good at something, you've got to invest time in getting better at it and following people and modeling people that have got the result that you want to get.
That was just a bottom of the spot a bit. So I just did it, but I think if the microphones come around here, that gets me more worried. I start thinking, it's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Just what I was going to say. It's always a toilet break for that. But you've got to go a couple of people before it gets to it. As a master at avoiding that.
There's a term for that, though, isn't there? I get what you mean. Do you want your food to come out or eat it while it's out?
No, it's fine.
If you had time to think about shit, it's coming up to me, it's going to be my turn. But it's completely different. You can ask the exact same thing, just you've had time to think about it. You end up in a worse situation. What's the term for?
So your brain's got time to think about all the things that could go wrong. And so it's that apprehension, anticipation. It's coming close to me. It's going to happen any minute. It's a bit like when you go into an exam and you're stood outside and you're worried, like it's over, like you've done all the work that you're going to do. Like when you're standing up at a property event, you can't prepare anymore. You can't suddenly come up with magic words. You are going to show up. And this is why, when we work with clients, it's about showing up authentically. It's not about becoming something that you're not. It's about being really good at who you are, because who you are the best person at being you. So what we want to do is not say, I want to be like this person. We want to say, I want to be a better version of me so I can do everything to the best of my abilities. It's who you want to show up as. And that is the best way to get results. I'll just share one other thing with it. So I'm going to pick on you, sir, if that's all right for a moment. So if I speak to you like this, is it a bit weird? Why? Because you're in my face. But what does that mean? Like, if think about, it sounds a bit woo-woo, but we've all got an energy. Oh, fucking energy, right? But otherwise, why wouldn't this be weird, right? If I stand here, this isn't weird, but this is, right? The point being is that everyone has an energetic field. So if I'm talking to one person, this is about the right sort of distance, isn't it? Maybe a bit further back, the way you're looking at me. But this is okay. Now, if there's two of you, I might move a little bit further back, because each of you has an energetic field. Think of it like a bubble, and there's another bubble, another bubble, another, and all the way around this room, there's all these bubbles, which means there's this big energetic, like, mass in front of me. So I can sense it, but I've got used to it, and I've conditioned myself to it. But when you stand up for the first time, and there's like all these people, or when you're sat there and the microphone's going round, there's all these people, there's all this energy that is amassing up. So you need to learn. Did you have a question?
No, isn't it a quantum thing as well, that anything that you give attention to is, I'm sure, like something to do with quantum physics, if you give attention to it, it's there, if you don't pay attention to it, it's not there.
Absolutely. Energy flows where focus goes. So whatever you focus on is what you experience. Yeah, absolutely. So, and that triggers your own limiting beliefs and doubts and fears. But the thing is, you don't experience life, you experience the life that you focus on. I'm not in any danger whatsoever stood up here. I don't think anybody wants to kill me yet. I mean, I've been a little bit annoying, but, I don't think anybody wants to kill me, and the knives aren't really that sharp. And so, psychologically, why would it be weird? But it is, isn't it? There is just that sense when you just stood up there, like people are all looking at me. What am I going to say? What if I say something wrong? But again, it's about the skill of working through that, challenging your limiting beliefs, and just preparing yourself so you are ready for anything. No matter what happens, you're always ready. I used to absolutely be terrified when I did corporate events where I'd be speaking to 500 people globally on a stage at work and thinking I wasn't good enough and no one was listening and all of those things. And you just condition yourself out of it, so it's absolutely fine. So I totally get how it feels, but it's just about developing the skill. And all of the skills can be learned, and it's about mindset, it's about message, and it's about marketing.
Thank you very much.
You're all welcome. So anybody got any other questions? I'm going to be around. Go up the front, go on. Go up the front.
Yeah, come on.
Get up front. Thanks, buddy.
Just before we all dive into our careers and everything else, I want to say a huge thank you for that and for all of you turning up tonight. And I have two super duper girls here who want to say something because it is somebody's birthday maybe next week, and maybe we can all join in. What would you two like to say?
Why are you pretending to be shy? This isn't you didn't just. Yeah, let's sing it.
Okay?
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to... Stand up, James. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear James. Happy birthday to you.
Well done, girls.
Enjoy.
Let's eat.